As we come to the end of the pandemic and cruise back to normality, we now have to deal with the financial consequences. Those on a state pension today were told that the triple lock was going, meaning that their payments wouldn't be increasing by as much as they thought. At this bowls club in North London, there were mixed opinions about the news.
I don't think it's unfair, but I do think it's a little unreasonable, bearing in mind we're just coming out of a pandemic.
It's time that they got this sorted, so it is a good thing there is a plan.
Well, for those people who rely on a state pension, who rely on a minimal income, it's devastating news.
The triple pensions lock meant that pensions would rise each year by whatever was highest out of inflation, the rise in average earnings, or 2.5%. But as people moved off furlough back to work, their pay went up by more than usual. So average earnings are now expected to rise by 8%, something the government calls a statistical anomaly. So for next year, the government's going to ignore it, and the triple lock will now become a double lock. But for how long?
Setting aside the earnings element is temporary and only for 1 year. This means we can and will apply the triple lock as usual from next year for the remainder of this Parliament, in line with our manifesto commitment.
It was in 2019 that the Conservatives made the triple lock pledge during the election campaign, and charities are concerned that this U-turn might end up being the start of a change in position.
We're going to be watching very carefully to make sure that ministers don't use this as an excuse to ditch the triple lock altogether. The triple lock is really very important for older people. It does help to prevent their incomes from falling behind those of everybody else.
It's not often that a Conservative government increases taxes and reduces pensions on the same day, and it's something they say they don't want to repeat. Shihab Khan, ITV News, Westminster.